Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I was looking around because I'm in the mall in Atlanta, and we're down here getting ready for the All Black National Convention set to take place on the weekend of September 15th and 16th. It is going. Oh, geez, people always call me right when I'm doing my live stream. That's always funny. So I'm gonna turn this off on Do Not Disturb. But anyway, guys, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your life is treating you well. I hope that you are on top of everything. I hope that you are sort of planning for your goals in life. I hope you're achieving those goals. I hope that you're finding yourself where you want to be instead of where everybody else is telling you that you're supposed to be. And I think it's important to I'm just, I guess in a reflective mood today, and I was just thinking about how a lot of times we don't realize that we actually are the dictators of our whole experience and where we end up. And I think some of us feel like it's out of our control. And I know sometimes I feel that way. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like my life gets carried away on a spiral, and I've lost control of that. And whenever I start to feel that way, I start to sort of regroup and think about, what is it that's causing me the stress I might be feeling in my life right at that moment, and how do I fix that? I just don't like that feeling. But anyway, what I wanted to do today, honestly, was as we're getting ready for the All Black National Convention in Atlanta, I just thought I would just chime in, do a live stream, and see how everybody was doing, answer some of your questions. And you know me. I mean, the conversation will go wherever it's going to go. Today, I was just thinking about how so many Negroes are so mad about Donald Trump going into the black church, and they're like, "How dare you come into a black church? You're using black people as a political prop." And my thought is, well, I mean, what the hell do you think Hillary Clinton's doing when she comes to your church? The only difference is that Hillary actually gets something out of your ass. I mean, she gets your votes and she owes you something, but doesn't usually pay up. At least Obama didn't. And so I think that before we get all offended that Trump came to a black church, maybe we should just think about the fact that maybe none of these politicians should be coming to our church, especially if at any point they've been proven to have lied to black people or have harmed black people. If you have lied to me or harmed me, if you made a commitment and did not keep your commitment, then you're not going to be invited back to my church. In fact, I think the only condition under which either of these son of a bitch politicians should be allowed to come to a black church, the condition should be that you need to sign a pledge of what you're going to do for the black community, and you're going to be held accountable. You and your party are going to be held accountable to that pledge. And if you do not fulfill that commitment, nobody from your party will be invited back to that church until that commitment is fulfilled. That's how you earn your respect. Now, OG is saying the audio is bad. Oh, man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hate the fact that the audio is bad. Maybe if I hold this up. So those of you who see me on YouTube, you might see me holding the phone. But tell me if that's better. Tell me if you can hear me better. If you can hear me better, say I can hear you better, or it's still choppy. If it's still choppy, then I'll just catch you guys outside or something like that. Um, so anyway, I'm gonna answer some of your questions that I see in here. Okay, Patty says it's much better now. Okay, maybe it's because the phone's closer. I'm in the mall, and I'm in the Lenox Mall. And honestly, the only thing I knew about Lenox Mall was the Trinidad James song when he said that the hipster girls shop in Lenox. So I saw Lenox. I said, "Oh, Trinidad James was rapping about Lenox Mall." So that just tells you how tacky I am, how behind I might be. Eric says, "Is Dr. Claude Anderson there?" No, he's not there. He's not coming to the All Black National Convention, but Dr. Anderson and I are doing an event at the end of October in DC. It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a 2-day event, and we're gonna get a gigantic space and be able to bring in maybe 600-700 people and really change the world. I really feel very strongly that what we're doing is light years ahead of the bullshit that you're seeing on TV. I really think that the stuff you're seeing in mainstream is, that's very 2005. That's very much the past. I think that where we are right now is we are on the ground floor of the future. There is absolutely no way that anybody can live in this country right now or at any point in the history or the future of this country and not understand the importance of economic empowerment and black collective economic action as one of the most critical movements that we can make as a community. So it doesn't really bother me if I go somewhere and and there's a concert next door, and everybody's at the concert, and and there's maybe 100 people in my room. My feeling, honestly, is that the people in that room are the ones who are going to control the future, and also eventually the people at that concert are going to be coming to get advice and support from the people who were in that room. You're going to come to those people who went to these lectures, who are empowered in the future, and you're going to come to these people to save your life because you spent all your time at the concert, or at the party, or at the club, or watching TV, or just chilling, or just doing what everybody else is doing. We're kind of in, being black in America kind of means that from the time that you're born, your very well-being is always in jeopardy. Your mental and physical health is always at risk. You are always in scenarios where you're going to be on the brink of insanity. If you know anything about racism, you might know the studies that show that racism is a mental illness that creates mental illness, meaning racism is perpetuated by crazy people, and it makes you a crazy person. And what I mean by that is, have you ever seen a situation where somebody literally made you crazy, where they literally caused you to act out in a way that you never would have acted if they hadn't been fucking with you in the first place? That's what racism does. Racism makes you into something that you're not. Racism makes you act out. It makes you, either act out externally, where you go off on somebody and people will wonder, like, what's wrong with her? She's crazy. She just ripped up the paper and ran out the room, or whatever. It's because the racism finally got to her. Or racism will cause you to act out internally, where maybe you won't do anything publicly, but you might go home and you'll be depressed. All depression is depression is basically anger turned inward. That's all depression is. It's when you take anger and you flip it on the inside instead of pushing it to the outside. Or you might go home and you might hit the liquor bottle. Or when the weekend comes, you might hit the club and do some things you might not normally do because you feel so hopeless in your life that you feel it's necessary to just engage in, unhealthy behavior. It might be unhealthy sexual behavior. It might be unhealthy behavior as it relates to drugs and alcohol. It might just be you wasting your life doing things that where you don't even know why you're doing them. And so, at the end of the day, um, I don't really teach. People think I teach financial literacy, but I really don't feel that way. I feel like I teach survivalism, survival skills. I mean, remember, you're not even in the country that you're meant to be in. You're supposed to be in Africa. That's where your roots are. That's where your heritage is. So you kind of been kidnapped and been led to survive in a foreign land, and it still feels that way hundreds of years later. It hasn't really changed that much. And in the context of all of that, survivalism is critical. And the way you survive in a capitalist society is you understand how the money works, where the money's at, where to get your share, how to make sure you have what you need. And um, so I don't know. I honestly congratulate people that listen to what I'm saying, and I feel sorry for people who don't hear, because what happens is you have a lot of people in this world that are very We talk about this in our Black Keys to Greatness class. If you want to sign up, you can actually go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. And in that class, one of the things we talk about is the fact that you have two types of people in the world. You have people that are proactive and those who are reactive. Reactive people are people that respond to the horrible things that just happened to them. Like somebody gets shot, so suddenly they feel like, okay, it's time to protest. We're tired of this because somebody just got shot, or they go through a hard time, they get evicted, or they end up homeless, and they say, oh no, I got to make a change because I'm tired of being homeless, or they've been eating greasy food their whole life and they have a heart attack, and they say, oh man, I got to change, I got to pray to Jesus and start eating right because if I don't, I'm going to die. Proactive and people like that, unfortunately, typically end up being kind of a little bit behind the curve. They end up being a little bit behind the eight ball because they're always sort of reacting to the past. They're sort of paying extra to sort of fix things that could have been fixed for a much lower cost if they had only planned early in the game. The proactive people are the smartest because they see things coming in advance. They prepare in advance so that they can literally pay 10 cents on the dollar in terms of time and energy and resources to solve a problem that would be very expensive if they allow that problem to get out of control. So, for example, if I just exercise, 30 minutes a day, maybe that's going to help me prevent a stroke or a heart attack 5 years down the road. If I save, $200 a month Maybe that'll keep me away from being evicted and being homeless when I lose my job. Or maybe if I spend a little bit of time learning how to start a business, that's going to save my ass when I get fired from my job and I don't know what to do next. So I encourage you. I would just say that when I've been on my game, when things have gone right for me in life, it's usually been because I've been proactive as opposed to reactive. So and it's unfortunate because I see a lot of very reactive black people. I see people that are very emotional, people that only respond to things when they get out of control. But when things are good, you see a lot of very lackadaisical behavior. You see a lot of people just kind of chilling, trying to look fly, giving up all their money so they can look good, engaging in things that feel good. Now, part of this, I believe, is due to like sort of this incessant need for therapy that comes with being black in America. Sometimes we give ourselves self-therapy, which might come in the form of drugs or alcohol or what we watch on TV or what we do with our lives. Like, or maybe you go to work and it's so stressful every day that when you finally get a free moment, you're not thinking about building anything for the future because you're so stressed out. So instead, you spend your time just chilling. I see a lot of people that like I even don't even like, honestly, I don't even like the fact that black men are defined as stereotyped as being so cool. A lot of people like us because we're cool, and not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes being cool it translates to being laid back. Like everything has to appear effortless. You have to always appear like you're not really trying that hard, that you're not that eager. And I'm not a big fan of that because personally, I believe that the people that get ahead in this world are the eager people, the ones who are just on their game, who own their shit, who are like two steps ahead of everybody. Who are like, where's that? Where's it at? Where's it at? I'm on my grind 24/7. Where's the next opportunity? I'm jumping in. I'm jumping in now. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm on top of it. Like people like that dominate. They tend to dominate everything that they see because your ability to dominate in life comes down to your spiritual energy. If your energy is high, then your success will be high. If your energy is low, then your success will typically be low. And so while we know that racism is real, you hear me talk about racism all the time. Um, the race, you cannot pretend you don't live in a country that doesn't have that has no opportunity. You can't pretend like there's just that no matter what you do as a black person, you always will get left behind. That's not true because not all of us get left behind. I see a lot of people, unfortunately, that are trained to put themselves at the back of the line. And again, it's not always their fault. A lot of this this stuff that we think that doesn't matter, it's been sort of drilled into our heads, right, from an early age. And if you don't have a family that hasn't sort of pulled you out of that and pushed you to have structure and discipline and just energy toward what you want, then maybe you just don't know. Maybe you're just sort of here, just living, But I encourage you not to just survive from day to day. I encourage you to really get out here and live. Wake your ass up, wake up, be awake, be woke, whatever you want to call it. Like be alert, go after what's yours. I mean, every day when I get up, I'm always thinking, man, life, I got this one shot. I don't know. I might come back after this is over. I might not. I might live another 50 years. I might die tomorrow. But I got today. What am I going to do today that's going to really blow it out the fucking water? What am I going to do right now in my life, right this minute, that's going to be so just out of my comfort zone that I'm going to like be extraordinarily impressed when I'm able to do it? Because I learned how to not trust myself. You see, because the problem is we tend to focus on our limitations and what we believe that we're capable of doing. So I learned to stop listening to me and listening to faith and just saying, okay, Boyce, I know that you want to hold this national convention and you don't see yourself as anybody's leader. You're not a Farrakhan. I know I'm not a Farrakhan. I don't pretend to be. Um, Farrakhan could do the Million Man March, and he did a hell of a job with it. But really, when I even planned the All Black National Convention, I was like, who the hell am I to like plan a convention that's gonna bring black people together? Like, I mean, am I being cocky and thinking I can do this? But I said, don't worry about it, boys. Just do it on faith. You're a smart guy. You're hardworking. You'll figure it out. Go hard. If usually, whatever your mass, like force is mass times acceleration. Force in physics, they teach this. Force is mass times acceleration. So that basically means that even if you have little mass, even if you're very small, if you get enough acceleration, you can match the force of any object in the universe. So somebody with as much mass as a bumblebee could literally have the same force as an elephant. He's just gonna have to work a lot harder than the elephant. And so to me, my thought had always been whether I was a big fish or a small fish. Some situations I go into, I'm a big fish. Some situations I go into, I'm a small fish. Um, whether I've been a big fish or a small fish, I've always said that if I accelerate hard enough, I can always compensate for the big fish. If there's a fish that's bigger than me or twice as big as me, if I accelerate twice as hard, I can have the same amount of force. If I accelerate 3 times as hard, they won't. I want to say these motherfuckers won't know what hit them. I don't want to cuss too much. I'm trying not to, but I get excited and sometimes it comes out of me. But at the end of the day, you just accelerate, just go hard. No matter where you are, and then sometimes you're gonna mess up, sometimes you're gonna look stupid, sometimes you're gonna do it wrong, sometimes you're gonna miss the mark. But if you just keep sort of having the audacity of courage and the audacity of consistency, then you will see yourself learning and growing and getting better. Your mistakes will be the best stories that you get to tell. By the way, I want to tell you guys, don't forget, if you want to come to the All Black National Convention in Atlanta the weekend of September 16th, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. We have David Banner coming, Zaza Ali, Judge Olu Stevens, Dr. Tyra Selden, Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, Yurima Karama, Andre Hatchett, Jay Morrison, Yvette Carnell, Nomalanga Mushali Moses. All kinds of people are coming, and it's going to be awesome. And I'll tell you, I was really upset. I was really a little bit taken aback today because I actually met a brother who came up to me and he wanted to take a picture. And he said, "Oh, by the way, you know the rapper Immortal Technique?" I said, "Yeah, Immortal Technique's one of my favorite artists. I've always wanted to meet him." He said, "Well, I work with him. I mean, I do his branding." I said, "Oh, oh." And so this guy said that he was coming to the convention. I said, "Man, please, if he's around, like bring him. If he wants to come out, like bring him. I'll make room for him." I think Immortal Technique is one of the most legendary, most powerful, most intelligent hip hop artists in the history of this country. He's one of the baddest black men ever. Is almost time to go? Okay, it's almost time for me to go, so I gotta go in a second. And I have an immense amount of respect for him. And so I would love, if you know him, if you're friends with him, on Facebook or anywhere, send him a note, send him this video, and tell him that I said, if he wants to call me or reach out to me, I support that brother 100%. Because the other thing is, and I think this is important for everybody to understand this, especially the black men who are going to join our organization. We're eventually going to launch a membership campaign very soon. Black Men United. For Black Men United, we're basically creating this as an advocacy organization for black men, where we sort of form a circle and a core of strength so that we have each other's back. The thing about it is, when you see another man or another woman or anybody going to battle, it's very, very important to run to their defense, to run to their support. Like Colin Kaepernick, you should do whatever little bit you can to support him. Go buy the brother's jersey. That'll make the 49ers more reluctant to get rid of him. Go speak up in support of him. Just whatever. Share the hashtag. Whatever it is that you got to do to make a donation. But run the battle and support, because a lot of times people get out here fighting, and you got a lot of black people that are accustomed to sort of sitting and watching other people suffer because they took a stand. We can't ever have that happen. We can't let that happen. So I got to run. I've been told I got to go. Don't forget, if you want to buy tickets to the All Black National Convention, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, if you live in another city and you can't make it, we do have a live stream that will allow you to live stream the whole event. You can sign up for the live stream at drboycelivestream.com. That's drboycelivestream.com. Also, if you're interested in our wealth building program for kids, you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, millionaires with an M. And then the last thing I'll tell you about is, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can get that at drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And don't forget, my new book, The New Black Power, is coming out pretty soon. I've already seen the proof. I love it. It's about 400 pages of just a whole lot of heavy Boyce Watkins stuff. And so I think it's something that the way you'll be happy that you took a read of the book. I think it'll give you something that'll make you strong. So anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for your support. I love you. I appreciate you, and it's always fun rapping with you. So I'm gonna talk to you guys real soon. Take care. Peace.